podcast on PowerTalk AM 1460 and FM 101.1. Streaming worldwide on iHeart Radio. Jan Price talks to the movers and shakers in the film business. The Jan Price Show.
You're listening to The Jan Price Show, and today my guest is documentary filmmaker Lynette Tolentino, and we're talking about her documentary, Ashes to Art. And this is one that's a little bit near and dear to everyone who lives in this particular area because it concerns Big Sur, and anybody who's ever been to Big Sur, and I know a lot of my audience has been. This film is a real fascinating look at this community and how they pulled together. And I'm going to let Lynette talk a little bit about how this film came into being and why. So welcome, Lynette.
Thanks, Jan. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. So, wow. Our community, Big Sur, is amazing. Typically, we come together very well in times of crisis. And one of the local gals, after the community was evacuated for a very large fire that ripped through the community back in 2008, she had one film that I think she evacuated with. It was Zoolander. She just watched that over and over again. And when we all came back from evacuation, which was about 2 weeks.
Wow.
She just had this brainstorm that, you know, again, this community comes together great in a crisis, but we need to come together for joy and for fun. What should we do? So she sat down at one of our local bars, Fernwood Resort, and sat down with another local gal friend and said, we should have a fashion show. But instead of having everybody design like regular clothes, we make the rule that they can use anything that's like recycled material or whatever they found out of their trash can or whatever. So that was the rule. That was the only rule, was to make clothes, and anybody could do it. Any, you know, whatever age range. It didn't have to be who's the best seamstress in town, she says. It could just be anybody. So that was the show that transpired. It started in 2009, and volunteers, you know, from the community would come together, and we really did put on this great event every year. So after a while, I realized that everybody kind of wanted to see themselves on film. And there was a wonderful studio that still does, New Dawn Studios in the area, Bill Roden and Associates. They come out, and at a very, very discounted rate, they go ahead and they film the show, put it on the Jumbotron so that anybody in the back can see as well. And so he had all this footage, but there was no budget to like break it down and give, you know, the designers and the models like their own separate acts and everything that would come down the runway. So I got really, really excited. 2013, I believe it was, the theme that year was Once Upon a Time. And I love that theme.
Yes.
And so I just went out and got this little cheapy handheld side flip screen camera and went to work interviewing everybody and getting excited about what they were designing for that show and just filming everybody. So that's how that started.
I remember that fire so well in 2008. We remember the way it had started by lightning. It was a beautiful sunny day, and the dry lightning had hit. And at that time, I was living in the Highlands area, and all the ash and everything was covering our cars, you know, and the smoke. So that was a really devastating fire for our area. And then again, subsequently, a few years later, we had another devastating fire in Big Sur. So you're right. The Big Sur community is one that does have to band together. They seem to have lots of natural disasters that take place in that area, mudslides, as well as after the fires, we get the rains and then we get the mudslides, and we've had bridges washed out. So it's really amazing to have the community come together to form something that is just so much fun. This film, Ashes to Art, which I love the title, is just such a joy to watch. And it's jaw-dropping, actually. I love how you start the film with the news, broadcast news, reporting on the fire, a couple different newscasters reporting on the fire and showing the fire. So we get to see how, you know, this show evolved. And then the various artists, I'm going to say, or, you know, artists that, you know, go and look for wonderful things that they can recycle to make these costumes. They're unbelievable.
Yeah.
They really are unbelievable. I mean, the one with the little girl with the little spoons the tasting spoons,
So
like when you go to
adorable.
ice cream store, like, I don't want to give a name to anyone in particular, but when you go to it, and you want to taste the ice cream and test it out and see whether that's what you want to purchase or not, they had saved those, I guess. And so this wonderful woman made this incredible creative dress out of these, ice cream tester spoons. It was amazing.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that. I mean, just that. I mean, that stands out. There's a lot of them, but we'll go through a number of
it's
them.
unbelievable. And these are people in the community that serve you your burgers when you come through town. This is everyone, and I love the fact that we're all just amateur to all of this. And I was an amateur filmmaker. I've never made a film before. So to dive in head first and just want to celebrate my community in this way and show my community how blessed we are to be with one another. And then through the filmmaking process, I got excited about the fact that, well, anybody can do this, like any community, to rally together or to have, fun. But oh, yes, Jan, these costumes that are made are absolutely amazing. I am floored every single year by their just creation, invention. It's amazing creativity, and that actually was one of my favorites as far as for the little kid dresses. It's like this cute little flapper dress with the spoons, like you said, and they clicked together as she moved down the runway, and it was just very, very spectacular. And we love the fact that the kids got involved. For a few years there, it was just the adults having fun and playing, and then we definitely got the kids involved, and so they have their own little separate kids show. They pretty much start off the show, and so it's been amazing. But yeah, I mean, we've seen everything from chicken wire, duct tape, plastic, slide, little films of slides. I think her mom that year wore that dress where they're just little slide, projector slide.
Old
oh my
projector
gosh,
slides.
So adorable. But yeah, I mean, they come up with so much, and then we have backstage like a makeup crew and hairstylists, and everybody donates their time to come out and have a blast. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's fun, and this has been going. This is continuing. It started in 2009, and it continues to go today. And they outgrew their location. It used to be at the Henry Miller Library, which many people know. The Henry Miller Library, a beautiful facility, and again honoring one of our great authors. That it's grown, and so now it's moved into Carmel and into a bigger space in Carmel. So the audience continues to grow. This is more than a fashion show, though. This is unbelievable. I mean, in the sense, you have like Cirque du Soleil type acrobats hanging from the ceiling, doing amazing things. You have people who are tell us a little bit about the fire dancing. Yes.
Yeah, Henry Miller Library, we were lucky to have the fire dancing there. As far as having it in Carmel, we try to have more like LED lighting and that type of thing, and a little less of the fire element. But definitely at Henry Miller Library for many years, we saw the big circus. The guys and gals come out for the fire dancing, and it's just an amazing part of the show. A lot of times they would just do that within intermission. At intermission, and is a really, really beautiful time. I just think that it brings that community element, that warmth. We celebrate the fire, that ripped through the community, and to be able to celebrate it in that way, I think was really, really amazing. So, kind of miss it.
Yeah. I thought as soon as I saw the fire dancing, I mean, of course, you think, oh, well, that's because of the fire. But you know that fire is about cleansing,
Exactly.
and it's a cleansing thing, and it clears out and cleanses, and we so often need to do that in our lives. Unfortunately, Big Sur seems to be the one that gets hit quite a bit with
very
that.
much so.
Yeah. As well as other parts of, look at Napa. I mean, how many times have they been hit, in Paradise, and then you go down to LA and, they're hit. San Diego. They're all hit like almost every single year with this. And I don't know if they've all come together to create something as magical as the Big Sur Fashion Show. It is truly amazing. And when is it usually held, Lynette?
So back when it was at Henry Miller Library, it was typically in May, and it got changed to September, and I haven't quite figured out what the dates are this year yet, but it will definitely be in September again this year. And it will probably be at the Barnyard again in Carmel. So,
And how many people can it hold?
Oh, I think 500 or more.
Okay, good. So it's a good sized crowd, and you sell out every year.
Yes.
For this fashion show
very quickly.
Yes, because it's just an amazing show. Where the funds that you raise from this, do they go back to the community? How is
Definitely, and that's the other thing. When the show first started, the money that would come in would just basically be recycled into being able to do it again the following year. But the gal that heads it up now, Elsa Rivera, she's amazing with fundraising and was able to make it so that it does go back into the community. Things like the volunteer fire brigade, and also the littles like Fiddle Camp and Stage Kids, and yeah, it's a great fundraiser.
It is. It really is. How long have you lived in Big Sur?
I've lived in Big Sur since 2003. And was lucky enough to be a part of the show from the very beginning stages. I didn't really want to be a part of like the committee meetings or anything like that. I was like, well, if there's anything you guys want me to do at the house, then definitely. I actually got a chance to design a few times and model a few times and just be a part of it. And then I was also asked to be the creative director for a few years as well. So yeah, in small ways and large, I've definitely been a part of it. Yeah. And then to just dive right into making this film about it and just really, like I said, celebrating my community with this film. It was pretty powerful. I never went to film school. However, I know a lot of people say this. A lot of times you just have to dive in and just do it. Exactly. And that becomes your school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so. And very often, and you do hear that a lot of famous filmmakers, that's exactly what, Spielberg right. did exactly that. He was just always had his camera and, always was out there filming, and look at where that led him.
Exactly.
For sure. Let's talk about some of the costumes. Now, you said you were one of the designers. What did you design?
Let's see. For Once Upon a Time, that same year that I filmed, I was very inspired by the mirror on the wall. And so I actually cheated. I didn't do any recycled. You can cheat a little bit. But I went out to one of the craft stores and bought all these different size mirrors. And the rule typically is that you shouldn't be using regular fabric. However, we were told at one point that if you used it as a base and you completely covered it with the medium of your choice, then that would be okay. So I cheated that year, and I went ahead and I took a bra and panties from my model, and I just completely bedazzled them with mirrors and real high heels. So again, it was kind of a Snow White kind of thing, and sent her down the runway. I was not going to walk in those heels myself, I'll tell you. But that was my inspiration. And then I got together with another gal, a really great gal friend of mine. The theme was Love Me 2 Times. And so we went out together in twin matching outfits of, we were tightrope walkers. So yeah, it's amazing to be able to get a theme. And then when you're inspired by a piece of music, because you're asked to pick out your own music, and you have 2 minutes to walk down the runway and come back. But you pretty much, because you have 2 minutes, you put on an act. And that's also the sparkly, fun juiciness of this show, is that you don't just see them walking down the runway and back. You really do get a show every 2 minutes. Every act is amazing and stunning, and we're all just blown away every single year by it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a show. There's no question about that. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Jan Price Show, all about movies. And my guest today is documentary filmmaker Lynette Tolentino, and we're talking about her documentary, Ashes to Art. So, I mean, there were some were these huge butterfly wings. Now, what on earth did they make those out of? Or was that one of those things that they did cheat a little bit and get, I mean, they're huge. They're huge butterfly wings.
I think that, again, the use of plastic and being able to dye things and color things. I mean, the MC will always say what each outfit is made out of. And you're just stunned because, I mean, it looks like cloth. cloth. Some outfits, obviously, they like the little flapper dress with the spoons. Obviously, that doesn't look like cloth. But I'm just amazed at, again, the creativity that comes out of our community and the mediums that they use for this creativity. The butterfly wings. I think the butterfly wings have kind of been a little bit of, a repetition through the years. A lot of people really love that idea, so they bring it again and again. I noticed there were butterfly wings a couple seasons ago where they used LED lighting in them, and that was really, really spectacular. So yeah, I'm just, again, floored every year at watching our community do this, and excited to possibly see other communities try this and share what they have as far as what they want to talk about too. So yeah, exciting stuff.
It is. Now, what has been the most unusual recycled product that someone has used that you can think of that really, when you saw it, you were like, your jaw drops anyhow when you look at these costumes, because when you do hear what they're made out of, you're going, there's no way that was made out of, whatever. I mean, it's not just trash bags that they're using. They're using some really unusual types of material.
Exactly.
To put some of these costumes together.
I think when I think about the one that really floored me, one of the gals used gun casings.
Interesting.
It was a very, very heavy costume. I was actually backstage when the poor gal that was modeling it, she came back and promptly fainted because of how heavy it was for her.
Wow.
She went out, she did the act, it was wonderful. But yeah, she came backstage and promptly fainted right in front of me. And I was supposed to go on stage, was unable to help her. But yeah, gun casings. I thought, that is really, really strange. We've seen the pop tops from soda cans, and to have as many of those collected and use them to make an outfit, that's a lot. So I'm always very amazed at the resilience in basically collecting the material all year long. I think we kind of come up with a plan, or know that, I have to save all these toilet paper rolls, or I have to save the pop tops, or, whatever it is that everybody's got in their mind to pile together for their outfit. And sometimes, because a lot of times people just don't want to go out by themselves, they kind of like a runway buddy.
Right. I noticed that.
Exactly.
Yes.
So regardless of the theme, there's a lot of times where people want to, have a buddy. And so then now the designer is making 2 outfits or 3 outfits or more. And so those are the ones that really, really just floor me, is the designer has taken the time to, again, save all this really, really kind of odd material. And it could be just receipt paper, anything, as long as it's not cloth, as long as it's not your typical material that we normally wear. So, but yeah, always amazed, again, the creativity. And again, this is why I got so excited about just picking up the camera and running around all that year and filming and getting the designers to actually show me as they're making those designs, like what it is you're actually doing right now and in real time. Back when it was at Henry Miller Library, it's a smaller space than where it's at right now. And so part of the community gathering for that was we had a decor department where there was a decor team, and we would invite anybody who wanted to participate to come to, one of the houses where we were creating little things to decorate the event. Now that doesn't happen so much anymore because the decorations would pretty much get lost in the very large venue. But again, I just really thought that was a part of the magic that happened, where everybody got a chance to be a part of it. So if you didn't want to design, if you didn't want to model, you could at least come to, one of our houses and create tissue paper flowers for the trees that we made. Or one year the year that I filmed, we made magic wands where we took redwood limbs and cut them down to size. And the thought was to give them a gift. Everybody that came to the event, it was a gift at the door. And so we ended up making over 500 magic wands, which was kind of stunning. We went the extra mile, and we actually shaved down a little bit of the redwood stick, and then sanded it down, and then burned. We had a wood burner, and I went ahead and carved the theme Once Upon a Time 2013 on every single one.
Wow.
So we get a little crazy. It's like something that we have to do.
So is it the minute one fashion show ends, you all start working immediately on the following year?
Pretty much.
And And how is the theme? You said, what was it? Love Me Twice? That's an interesting
Love
theme.
Me Two Times.
Love Me Two Times. Where did that come from?
Yeah, it's very interesting. This show has never been a competition, but if it was a competition, it's to get the outfit to be chosen as the theme for the next year.
Oh,
so
okay.
the year prior to Love Me Two Times, someone came out with this really, really great double whammied kind of model designer situation, and so that became the theme for the next year. I think we slid Once Upon a Time in there because we just knew that was going to be a really, really sweet theme.
Yes.
But most every theme, except for the very first one, was paper dolls. And then one of our wonderful gals, one of the designers, the local gals, came out and she had some sort of outfit where it changed into something else. And so the next theme for the next year became metamorphosis, and so on and so on. And so it's always kind of neat to look around and see which outfit may be the inspiration for next year's theme. So that's always been really fun.
That is fun. Do you know what the theme is going to be this year?
I do not.
You don't?
I do not.
Who gets to make that decision?
If you're on the production team, the committee, that's when those are the heads that get to press together and see what the next theme is and what they were really inspired by the year before. So, yeah.
What's the most difficult part of putting this show on? I mean, how many people let me ask you that question and then I have a follow-up question.
Yeah. So luckily, the gals that actually came up with the idea, they basically were the team in the very beginning to plan this out. And then they realized that, this is kind of a big job. So through the years, more people would come on board and be a little bit more in touch with, producing the show. So one of the gals whose brainchild it was, she decided that this is great. I've been doing this for a while. I want to kind of step back and let other people step in. And I think that was also the beauty of this is that, again, like I said before, I was asked to be the creative director. I would have never in my mind, ever thought that I could do something like that. However, she put together what we call the Fashion Show Bible. And so each department is basically you're given a list of to do. It's like planning a wedding. So many months out, this is what you should be doing. So many weeks out, so many days out, this is what you need to be doing. And so it's a great little checklist for anybody. So, I mean, anyone can step up to any of these different positions and take the time to get involved. But yeah, production can be a little stressful. I mean, it's any production, whether you're filming or whether you're putting on a show, it's a lot of work. And we try to just keep it fun and entertaining for ourselves as much as possible. And
because of that, it's fun and entertaining for the audience when they come. Because as I said to you, it really is more than a fashion show. It is a true, it's a multi-dimensional entertainment. I mean, it's just amazing the talent that is there,
very much so.
The many unique and different. Not only the costumes, as you say, they get that 2 minutes to come out and kind of perform a little bit, and everyone does. It's not just coming out and walking and showing off, but it is pretty amazing.
Exactly.
So, one quick question: how many people in the community get really involved in this?
Oh, a lot. Back when we had it at Henry Miller Library, I think we'd have 300 people just in production alone. And that includes the designers and the models and the hairstylists and the makeup and backstage management and site manager and, treasurer, everybody's there. I feel like it's a little bit bigger these days. Yeah. Not by much though, probably. But yeah, I'd say maybe 400 people in production still.
It's a lot. Well, it's a big show to put on, and if anybody would like to see Ashes to Art, you can go to BigSurFashionShow.com. That's www.BigSurFashionShow.com, and you can order a copy of Ashes to Art. Thank you, Lynette, for being here, and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. I thought it was a special way to celebrate my birthday today. Come talk to you. Thanks, Jan.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks again.
You can listen to the Jan Price Show anytime, anywhere, and on the iHeart Podcast Network, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and on your smart TV. Also, you can go to thejanpriceshow.com to listen to archived shows and my movie reviews, The Price Movie Minutes. Thank you for listening.
on PowerTalk AM 1460 and FM 101.1. Streaming worldwide on iHeart Radio. Jan Price talks to the movers and shakers in the film business. The Jan Price Show.